Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Ashley Marshall and I'm here to do a pick-a-pile reading for 2/2/2022. So this day is a day of significance for the reason that 2 represents balance, relationships, and also connecting with our spirit guides. So this will be a reading, a pick-a-pile reading from your spirit guides. So when we add up 2/2/2022, that equals 10, which is also about embracing change. And if you add the 1 to the 0, and it becomes a 1, it allows some potent manifestation for this day, or honestly for whenever this video is finding you. It doesn't have to just be for today. So there are 3 different piles. We're going to call them pile A, doing a little sign language, busting out some sign language, pile B, and pile C. So whatever letter you resonate with the most, if you would like to choose more than one pile, feel free to do so. We're going to go ahead and get started with pile A. All right, so pile A, what messages are you receiving from your spirit guides? The animal oracle you received was buffalo, abundance. You are provided for in all ways. So your spirit guides really want you to know that you are provided for. Maybe there's been some worry or concern over finances or material possessions, career, and you've been having some worry or doubt over whether or not you're going to be receiving any abundance. Because we can look at this day, if we add up all the numbers and make the 10 a 1, this again is a great day for manifestation. So maybe your focus might be on manifesting abundance, or manifesting, allowing for abundance, right? Taking a look at how maybe your family's mentality around abundance or society's mentality around abundance has limited you, has helped you. Okay, but this really comes, this oracle really comes as a sign to ease any doubts or worries or concern that you have had over the flow of abundance, right? It is also a call, because sometimes when we are moving through life, there are times when we are more abundant and less abundant. So if you're in a period of abundance, you're being called to share that abundance, right? Not hoard what you have. I'm also hearing not hoarding what you have out of fear that there won't be more, right? Many of us maybe hold back a little bit when we are flourishing more because we're afraid about it getting lost, which sometimes can come from like inherited trauma from ancestors who were alive during the Great Depression, in times when things were scarce, right? That lack mentality, that scarcity always being on the mind, right? So to freely share when you are abundant, right? And it's not just financial abundant, when you are abundant in positive affirmation and attitude, right? Because we're always flowing in and out, right? I mean, hopefully we are, flowing in with abundance more, but there are those times, right, where maybe we're not feeling so positive. So when you can offer your abundance in any form to somebody, like I said, positive attitude, cheerful attitude in a time when they're not feeling great, right? Offering some of your time. Maybe you're abundant in time and a friend or family member isn't, and they could use your help with things, right? So letting that natural flow of abundance move in and out of your life more freely, and really working to shed and release that mentality around there isn't enough, because the truth is there's more than enough for all of us, right? And yeah, there are some funky things going on in the world where, much more of it is directed towards certain groups of people, and it's not all about abundance. I don't want to spiritually bypass. But, there certainly is enough for all of us, like when we do the math, and some of that is a mentality, right, to work through. The additional associations with this card are generosity and gratitude, right? So being generous with your abundance, being grateful for the abundance that you do have. So maybe if you're currently feeling lack, making a mental list or physical list of the things that you are abundant in, right? Maybe you are abundant in family support. Maybe you're struggling with finances, but you have so many beautiful family members that have been helping you, giving you a place to stay, feeding you, right? Or maybe you are really abundant in space, right? And you can share that space with a neighbor who wants to grow vegetables but doesn't have as much growing space as you, right? So those are just some small examples. Okay, so that is the first thing coming through from your spirit guide. And the second thing, the archetype oracle card that you received to be mindful of and to embody, right? To embody the light attributes and be mindful of the shadow. You received the rescuer. Okay, the light attributes of the rescuer is that the rescuer provides strength and support to others in crisis, right? Acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Now that really goes back to sharing your abundance, and when you're sharing something freely, we don't attach it, especially when we know it's always coming back to us, right? A lot of the expectation of reward, I think, is tied up in the idea that we're lacking and we won't receive it from other areas, right? Okay, so the rescuer is, of course, very helpful and works to rescue and save people. However, shadow attributes of the rescuer are that when the dark side, right, is that they can assume that the rescued will reciprocate, and we're almost moving into a little bit of matridom, right? The shadow attributes of the rescuer is that sometimes they keep the rescued ones needy, so that they're constantly in a place of rescuing and helping. So looking to where that's showing up in your life, maybe currently where you are being the rescuer, right? And looking to see how much energy you're putting into this role and if it's really beneficial for you to continue to put so much energy into the role as rescuer, right? Are the people that you are rescuing, do they need it? Are they appreciative? Because I think there is something to be said. I do think a rescuer should receive reward, right, and gratitude. So continuing to put your energy into places where you're not is probably not the best for you, right? So kind of reviewing that, seeing where that's showing up in your life. And then also, yeah, it's not great to expect reward, but it's even more like hurtful when we are expecting it from people who have proven to us time and time again that they are not going to give us gratitude, right? So yeah, observing your motives for helping others, right? Observing your motives when you want to dive in and save others, right? I feel like there's some savior energy to this group, and when it is focused in a healthy direction where there's a positive exchange of energy, right? That's really good. So trying to create more of those environments for yourself and checking in where you're not getting anything back, because I do think that you should. Also, are you in a space of giving and constantly wanting to receive back, right? because we always want to make sure that it's coming from a genuine place. And the ancestral message oracle card from your spirit guides is the caregiver, okay? So really falls in line with the archetype of the rescuer, right? When the caregiver oracle comes up in a reading, it's usually an indication from your ancestors, spirit guides, that you're a natural caregiver, right? And if you haven't already, tapping into that power that you have to caretake others. It might be something that happens today, right? With all this powerful manifestation energy going on, and balancing of relationships. Also with that idea of balancing relationships, where are you maybe caretaking too much? Where could you use some caretaking, right? And then that also comes back in with the rescuer archetype, caretaking for, a genuine purpose, okay? As opposed to just for the payback, okay? But I do feel like this group, Group A, are natural caretakers, natural caregivers, and there may be some desire to take on a role as such and monetize this in some way. And I hear and see that you are very encouraged by your spirit guides to do so. Okay, so that is Group A. If this reading resonated with you and you picked Group A, I would so much appreciate if you like, comment, subscribe. If you comment, let me know if it resonated with you. Okay, Group B. Group B, your oracle animal is Moose, authority. Okay, you know what is best for you. So some of you may be coming up against stubborn partners, stubborn people in your life. Maybe not stubborn, but people who have a sense that you're not a pushover, but that you adapt easily, right? You can change, you can adapt, you can carry a lot of things at once, do a lot at one time, be in a lot of different places, and they've tapped into this knowingness and energy about you, and maybe they are trying to gently or forcefully guide you in one direction. And what I'm hearing very clearly from your spirit guides with this oracle is that you are the authority on your life, and you know what is best for you. And as you can see, that moose is not moving, right? Okay, they're standing their ground. So you may be in a situation where you're really being called to stand your ground. And I'm also hearing there's likely a call for balance in your relationships, right? Where are you allowing possibly the other person to make more choices? And this could be like a friend who chooses where to go for lunch every time you meet up, not just a romantic partnership. This could also be business partnerships, I'm hearing too. So where can you put in your input? Where can you have more authority in your life? Okay, like I said, I'm hearing that it is, and because of the two being focused on relationships, I'm hearing that the authority to have is in your one-on-one personal relationships, right? And there's some idea of like conditioned fear here with going with the grain, allowing other people to decide things for you. And if you have trouble tapping into your gut intuition about something, looking for those patterns, those thoughts that keep coming up, right? Maybe it's like a place that you want to move, wanting to move to Florida, and the idea just keeps reoccurring. You see Florida license plates everywhere, right? Even though everybody's telling you that, you wouldn't like it there and you shouldn't move there, right? So if you have trouble with your intuition, which sometimes those things serve to do, when people are constantly telling us what's good for us, it can serve to weaken our intuition, especially if we've experienced trauma, right? Because trauma can also serve to weaken our intuition. But it is something that we can totally reconnect with, right? In a relationship that we can grow and get back in tune with. And one of the ways you can do that from more of a thinking place, if that's where you're coming from, as opposed to a feeling place, if you can't feel a gut instinct, looking for those repeating patterns of continuing to think about Florida, the signs, seeing the license plates, right? So it really is about trusting your inner guidance, trusting your intuition. Maybe this group might benefit from looking up their human design and seeing how they integrate things, how they make decisions best. Okay, is it your emotions? Is it your gut? Yeah, it's really, this oracle is a call really not to blindly trust anyone else's input, but instead using your own intuition, using your own smarts to determine what is best for you, okay? You are the ultimate authority on your own life, right? The additional associations with this card are warrior, self-esteem, balance, hey, go figure, and fearlessness, okay? Because I do feel like that idea of self-esteem stands out a lot. Like I feel like these group has had to work hard to define their voice, to say who they are and what they want, and know a lot, and yes, know a lot, right? So I feel like your spirit guides are really validating that for you. They're supporting you, and they're here to continue support you in doing that. Okay? All right, so group B, your archetype oracle that you got is, I don't even know if I know how to say this. Dilettante. Light attributes. Delights. Oh, dilettante delights in the arts without having to be a professional, okay? Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Shadow attribute, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Okay, so this is kind of like a Jack or Jane of all trades, right? As you can see, this figure is holding a bunch of different things, doing a bunch of different things, painting, writing, planting plants, making food. This kind of reminds me of me and my Gemini moon, like, or a manifesting generator, right? Lots of different hobbies, lots of different likes, lots of different desires, a desire to dabble into a lot of different things. And what can be nice about this sometimes is that you know a little bit of everything, right? I'm also hearing it as a call and a reminder that you don't have to monetize all these things. Some of these things, right, the light attribute of this archetype is that you delight in these things without having to go all the way, right? You can create art, you can paint without going to art school and becoming, getting a degree in art, an arts degree, okay? Which I'm thinking that might also be a shadow attribute of this side, is that they have a degree in everything, okay? The danger with this dabbling and spreading yourself like way out there, putting your hands in every single pot, is that it stays kind of surface level, right? The degree, and it could go either way, like I said, for the people in this pile, for B. You could have an addiction to getting a certification in everything or a degree in everything, or you're just dabbling in things, which is totally fine if you're keeping it just about the joy. But if you're trying to monetize it, you owe it to clients and to other people to get deeper with it, to have a deeper understanding of something, right? And because, I really don't think that people in this group or people with this archetype are necessarily doing it on purpose. I think it comes from a love of learning I love being a jack or Jane of all trades. And then when you meet other people and join groups, you want to discuss it with other people, that's fun and good and everything, but the people who really have studied it and practice it may see you as someone who's just dabbling, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that as long as you are projecting yourself, selling yourself as someone who doesn't, right? Yeah, so like by extension, a jack of all trades, but also kind of like a master of none. People with this archetype in pile B may have a tendency to move on really quickly from one thing to the next and being superficial in your pursuits, right? Or quickly losing the love that brought you to wanting to get involved with these pursuits, right? So really the call here for this powerful two energy day is to balance, find some balance here. Sure, allow yourself to stay superficial in those things that maybe aren't as important to you, and then allow yourself to grow deeper and to study things more that are more important to you, right? Looking for patterns in your life of moving from one thing to the next quickly without going very deep. Okay? I'd love to hear if that resonates for anybody in this pile. It certainly resonates for me. I chose this pile. Okay. And so the oracle message from your ancestors. Mother. So what I'm hearing here is that those who chose this pile B, it could be your passed on mother, spirit guide that is speaking to you, your mother as a spirit guide, or a spirit guide that has mother energy or comes from your mother's lineage or was like a mother figure in your life. Okay, so what I'm hearing from ancestors in general for people with this pile is that you may need some mothering, right? You may really want to call in that mother energy. To work on the mother wound, to take a look at what you received consistently or inconsistently from your mother or mother figure. And when we speak about mothering is compassion, mothering is nourishment, right? So I'm hearing that the ancestors are calling this pile to tap back into self-nourishment, self-care, okay? Taking care of the self as much as you would a child, okay? And I'm hearing this, like, especially for those who have kids, turning some of that mother energy back inward to yourself. It's beautiful that you're a mother, and it's a beautiful thing that you are mothering others, okay? Maybe this is also for coaches. It is, I'm hearing, for coaches with clients. Remembering to nourish the self. You're spending so much time, so much energy, so many hours a day nourishing other people, right, with your services and such. It is important to give yourself back that energy. This could be a call to spend more time with your mother, to receive some nourishment for your mother if that's not safe or your mother is not with you. Reminiscing about your mother, pulling her things out, looking through photos, maybe reading letters, wearing some clothes, refreshing an altar that you have for a mother or a mother figure. I'm hearing as well, and going out to your true mother, your first mother, if that's how you want to look at it, Mother Nature, right? Allowing Mother Nature to nourish you, to give you compassion, to give you love, kindness, gentleness, and empathy, right? So that is what I'm hearing for group B. And I think that's complete. Moving on to group C. Group C. We'll take a look at your animal oracle card first. Group C, you received porcupine, innocence, free yourself of guilt and shame. So I'm feeling a lot of heaviness in group C, okay? It feels like there's been a lot of self-punishment, inner critic chatter going on, okay? Maybe there were some mistakes made in the past that are coming back to surface that you're ruminating over. Yeah, and really just beating yourself up over it. And your spirit guides are calling on you to look at yourself with the kindness, you know, similar to the last pile of parents, right? Looking at a child. With the porcupine energy too, there's also this energy that protection is available to you if you need it. So if you feel like if someone else is giving you this energy of shaming you, right? Your spirit guides want you to know there's protection available, that you don't have to accept that, you don't have to take it, you don't have to listen to it anymore, okay? Oh, also the porcupine, I forgot to say it, represents innocence, okay? So there may be some like childhood wounds, mother wound, father wound, inner child stuff coming to the surface for you. So taking this time to, you know, either work through that or manifesting a new way of being, right? Manifesting a way for you to work through that. You know, that could be working with someone. It could be just doing some research and reading some books. It could be through positive affirmation. It could be through inherited trauma resolution work, which you can, if this resonates, you can comment and we can talk about working through that. And just hearing that coming through. Yeah, there's really this call, like, to dance, to love, to sing, to be free again. You are deserving of that, right? You are deserving of that regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of any maybe choices you made that you're not happy about, things that happened to you, okay? You are deserving of a good and happy life, of joy, okay? The other associations with the porcupine are humility, protection, sensitivity, and trust. All right, let's move into the archetype oracle for group C, bully. So I do think that either you're being the bully, right, the inner critic, that inner voice, or you're dealing with a bully. Okay, the light attributes, it highlights your tendency to intimidate either yourself or others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Obviously, the shadow attributes or the bully is that they conceal deep fear behind verbal or physical abuse. So yeah, what I'm really hearing is going back to that idea of beating yourself up in your head. Okay, so really like quieting the bully, telling the bully to shut up. Okay, intervening in your mind, right? I'm also seeing like doing breath work for this group might be really powerful. I recommend starting like with something easy because it really can be incredibly powerful and potent. Yeah, a lot of energy here I'm feeling about like the bully within, you know, you blocking yourself, keeping yourself from moving forward with this guilt and shame over the past, inner bullying. Yeah, and the inner critic is that inner voice that bullies us, right? Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, you know, what really lurks beneath the bully is someone who is cowardly, right? Not that we are cowardly, but, you know, the outer bully, if you're dealing with like a physical other bully, you know, realizing that this comes, not that it makes it okay, but realizing where the bullying is coming from, you know, people bullying them, from sadness, from loneliness, from trauma, from despair, right? There's also this energy in the card. The bully is, yes, I saw the breath work, but also that's like the bully lashing out. And in what ways and where do you bully yourself and lash out at yourself? Okay, so assessing where you are bullying yourself and trying to create new patterns, right? Whether that's physically talking to yourself when you hear the bully, leaving notes on your mirror as little indications to remind yourself to speak kinder to yourself. That's what I'm hearing from your spirit guides. Like whatever will help you with that. Listening to positive music, listening to podcasts, like anything that supports you speaking more kindly to yourself. And your oracle card from your ancestors. The Inventor, Ingenuity. So what's interesting about this one is it's about, when it comes up in a reading, it can be about the possibility of having to hone in your own ingenuity, having to be innovative with something. And the thing that I think you're going to have to be innovative is freeing yourself of guilt and shame, working through this inner bully, this inner critic, right? You may have to shift your way of thinking. And the Inventor can be about being stuck at a job, stuck in relationships. But here, for this pile C, with all of this going on, I think it's stuck in negative thought patterns, stuck in self-bullying. Okay. So reflecting on the times in your life when you have had to be innovative, when life has required you to think on your feet, okay? To use your imagination to tap into your intuition, right? So your ancestors are calling on you to be inventive, right? Try new things. Try something new to free yourself of the guilt and shame if the old stuff isn't working, okay? Maybe the affirmations aren't working anymore. Maybe you've been doing it alone, trying to do this alone too long, and you're being called on working with a coach or mentor, guide, therapist, okay? Yeah, and there's also this energy here with don't deny your power to be creative and innovative and think on your feet. And that's why it might be really helpful for you to look back in your life and see all those times when you have been. All the things that you created, I'm also hearing manifested into your life, it's possible for you to do again. Okay, so if you've been feeling stuck in the shame and guilt, in the self-bullying, right? Bringing some new ideas to the table, okay? Checking out different social media accounts to see what other people are doing. Maybe there's a workshop, maybe there's a book, maybe there's a course, okay? So that is what was really coming in for you, pile C. If any of this resonated, subscribing, liking, commenting, and letting me know below this video, I would so appreciate it. Many blessings for you all on this 2/2/2022 day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.